Welcome. I am your host. My name is Dennis Deloach, and I'm going to welcome you to the Uncle Jim Effect Monumental Podcast. Today is a Friday Focus episode, and I want to thank you for taking the time to join us. I'm excited about this topic. Today, we're going to talk about the 6 steps to 10x growth. Absolutely works. A phenomenal uh, way to do things and guaranteed results if you will apply the process. Let's start off, first of all, by having you subscribe and hit the like button, leave some comments. I really appreciate it. Also, great news. We've officially made it. We're now on the Apple podcast. You can search us under that, the Uncle Jim Effect Monumental Podcast, or my name, Dennis Deloach. So let's get started. Again, I'm excited about this. I have developed this system from the 35 plus years in business, and more importantly, in my background in playing football at a high level and also coaching football. And I'm excited to share that with you. It's meant a lot to me. Let's start off by sharing a quote like I like to do on these, and it's one that's by Charles Darwin. I don't necessarily subscribe to a lot of things he's talked about, but I do believe this quote to be excellent, and it's a good place for us to start. And then he says, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable in change." That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about establishing a process to 10x our growth or performance or income or business. Those are things that you can absolutely do. But the main ingredient to success is how do you change? Because life will absolutely throw you curveballs. And every game plan ever invented in sports, life, business, health, any of those always gets thrown a curveball. And so it's how we deal with change and how we adapt to that change that determines how successful we are. So again, let's start. These are 6 steps. I call them the 6 A's to 10x growth because each one of these start with an A, and I like doing that to make it simple. And so again, I'm going to liken this to football. We can also have business principles in there, but we can apply this to any area of our life. Where do we want to grow 10x? Where do we want to improve performance? And that can be in health, uh, business, finances, anything you want to apply to. So, first and foremost, step number one is alignment. What do we mean by alignment? In football, the simplest thing that we start with when we teach kids, or even in the NFL, the first thing they talk about is where do I align? Where do I line up? Where do I place myself? So, in our first step to 10x growth, our alignment is what is our purpose? We've talked about this a lot. What purpose do you have in life? And are you where you currently are aligned, whether it's in your business or in your personal life, is that in alignment with your purpose? Is it in alignment with your passion? And is it in alignment with your potential, your God-given potential? Because if you're aligned in an area that you does not fit your purpose, that you're not passionate about and does not utilize your God-given skills, you will lose interest, you will fail, and you will be of value to nobody. So step number one in our ability to create 10x growth or performance improvement is to make sure that we are aligned properly. And our alignment deals with our purpose, our passion, and our potential. And those are things that only you can answer. The second thing we talk about, our second A in our desire to 10x growth, is our assignment. So once we're aligned in the right position, and again, I'm talking specifically football, we can apply it to life and business. Once I'm aligned correctly, what is my assignment? So now in football, as I align somebody in their proper position, and by alignment, I mean, we're talking exacts. We're talking you might be 4 yards off the line of scrimmage, a yard and a half outside the end man on the line of scrimmage, as an example. It's not an estimation. These are exact alignments. And the more exact we align, the more we are ready to perform what our assignment is. And our assignment on a football field is everyone has a different assignment. And what we're talking about there is, what am I accountable for? What's the end result of what my assignment is? And then what am I responsible for? I understand that I'm accountable for this outcome, but there's many steps on the road to achieving that outcome. And which of those steps am I responsible for? And what steps are my teammates responsible for? And then what are the expectations? In this assignment, what is expected of me? What is my purpose in this assignment? What is my accountability and responsibility? Once I know those things, I've completed my assignment portion of that. The third A in our 6 steps to growth, 10x growth and performance, is action. So once I'm aligned properly, I know what my assignment is. What action steps do I take? So in football, we know if I'm aligned properly, I know what my assignment is. Once it's time to act, I need to go act with force, speed, and focus. And so action steps are simplified. Once in a football field, for example, once I know where I'm aligned and what my assignment is, my action needs to be simplified down to how many steps I take and what do those steps look like. I need to amplify my action, which means at certain times that action needs to become quick, explosive, and violent. And then the final one in that is that I need to focus on the process. I do not focus on outcomes when I'm doing action. I'm focused on the process of what it is that I'm doing. The outcomes will naturally follow. The fourth step of the 6 step process to 10x your growth is assessment. So I've aligned properly. I know my assignment. I'm performing my action. Once that's completed, I need to assess what my performance was. Benjamin Franklin has a great quote that goes along with this. He says, "When you're finished changing, you're finished." And it's so true. If we think that we can put our head down and one game plan is going to get us from A to Z over a 1 year period, 30-year period in health, life, relationships, business, or growth, we are absolutely kidding ourselves. So we are always constantly changing. And in fact, I think this assessment, or the fourth step, is the most important quality for growth that we overlook. Too many of us put our head down and just keep going and going and going and expect to get a different result with the exact same thing. So underneath this assessment, we need to adjust the game plan when life throws us curveballs, not the goal. Again, we don't give up on the goal. We just say that series of steps didn't get me where I wanted to be. I just need to change the steps. And then in this, I love the mastermind concept. In football, I used to have assistant coaches helping me spot different things on the defensive side of the ball, which was where I was responsible for. They would give me input, but I knew the buck stopped with me, and I had to make that final decision. Same in life, performance, business, all of those things. We need to have as many eyes on our goal as possible. They can give us honest, personal, true assessments to us, but we need to be the CEO of our own life and implement those changes. The fifth A in the 6 steps to 10x growth is adjust. So once we've aligned ourselves, we know our assignment, we've taken proper action, we've stepped back and assessed how we performed and what changes we need to make, we now need to make adjustments. This again is critical to getting that 10x growth and being a true leader. Peter Drucker, who is one of the greatest business minds in the history of business, said this: "The greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence, it is to act with yesterday's logic." So as we adjust, after we've made our assessment, when we adjust, what we're doing is working with real-time logic. We're not making decisions today based on what we thought was accurate yesterday. Very, very important. Under this adjustment, we need to outline a new game plan. In football, we would make adjustments at halftime. We would make adjustments between series. But in business and life and performance and growth, we need to make adjustments and create a new game plan. And the game plan is just a series of steps outlining what the expectations are and how we get there. We then need to communicate exact expectations to the team because we've now changed the game plan midstream. This is a big area that the ball gets dropped, is we assume people know when they don't. Leaders need to communicate honest and exact expectations on what you expect people to do. And then finally, underneath adjustment, we need to keep score. We need to monitor the results. Those things which you monitor improve. And other than that, if we don't keep score, how do we know if those teammates we have or people that work with us are winning? We have to keep score. And finally, the sixth A in the 6 steps to 10xing growth and performance is, again, once we've aligned ourselves, once we've got our assignment, once we've done our proper action, once we've stepped back and assessed what it is, and once we've adjusted the game plan and presented it and keep score, again means we start over, we repeat, because life keeps throwing curveballs. It doesn't throw you one curveball and you step back and now you have success. We will get thrown multiple curveballs in life daily, if not hourly, right? And our ability to adjust is not using yesterday's logic, like Peter Drucker said, and it's not to avoid change. It is to constantly repeat this process. Focus on the process, not the outcome. So the only constant that we know of is change. And so if that's coming, we either embrace change and succeed, or we don't embrace change and we get run over by life. Albert Einstein said, the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. This is probably one of the most brilliant minds that's ever walked the earth. And he says, the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. You and I need to master the concept of change. And that begins with the 6 steps to 10xing growth and performance, whether it's in business, leadership, health, relationships, any of those things. We can absolutely do it if we'll apply these simple steps. And I want to end with a quote by the greatest, or one of the greatest football coaches of all time, Vince Lombardi. And he said, perfection is not attainable. But if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. We know perfection is not attainable. Do not beat yourself up when you don't attain it, because I'll tell you right now, you will not attain it. But our pursuit of perfection is meant for us to achieve greatness. So don't quit, don't give up, remain positive. Implement these 6 steps to growth in any area of life or business you want. It's a system that I've worked on personally for 30, 40 years in football and coaching and business and life. And I hope it brings value to you. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to spend time with you. I would highly ask you to please like and subscribe to this podcast, and go find us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. And don't forget, 6 steps to growth and achieving performance.